And one of the latest reports, it is being reported that Zach LaVine has been a willing participant in all activities leading up into training camp. But is Zach LaVine now ready to lead the Chicago Bulls? Is it in the best interest of the Chicago Bulls that you have this type of Zach LaVine approaching this season coming up? And how we gonna end the show? We got to talk about Josh Giddey speaking on his time with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Y'all know we're gonna talk about it, break it all down, but you gotta hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on today's daily episode. If you're tuned in with me today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell as well. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting closer and closer to basketball. We are getting closer and closer to one of the greatest times of the year. Basketball, football, all at the same damn time. I can't wait. And we're going to talk about our Chicago Bulls. Now, in one of the recent articles from Yahoo Sports and Hoops Heights in particularly, it came out and reported that Zach LaVine has been a willing participant ahead of the next week's training camp. Y'all know we getting closer and closer for that. They say he joined his majority of his teammates in Miami last month as well in player organized mini camp. And I like to hear that stuff. I remember maybe like a week or two or so, I was saying that Zach LaVine has to have some type of buy-in with the Chicago Bulls, regardless if his ultimate plan, you know what I'm saying, is to move on from the squad. He still has to buy in per se just to kind of mend or kind of silence some of the criticism that he's faced these last few months, especially with other teams coming out and their sources saying they ain't looking at him at all as a trade piece that they would want on the squad. And then the different things that's been going on, and Vucevic coming out and saying different things, and the team source that came out and said that he's done it his way. Now it's time to do it our way. All that stuff that has came up. I will say this though. This is showing some solid leadership from Zach LaVine. And I will go on as far as say this is what he needs to do. And I would say it is time for Zach LaVine to step up. I honestly believe that it's time for Zach LaVine to step up in many, many regards, regardless on how long he wants to be around the Chicago Bulls. Because even if the ultimate plan is to move on to another squad, teams got to know who they get it. Teams got to understand who they dealing with. And I'm not saying he has to be some rah-rah type of ultimate leadership. You know what I'm saying? He's the ultimate leader. He doesn't have to do all that. But you want to see good examples of leadership. Some guys, they are not the rah-rah guys. Some guys are lead by example type of guys. You know what I'm saying? Guys that don't want to touch, that don't say too much, but they let their actions speak and kind of lead, you know what I'm saying, be that leadership style that they want to present for their team. So I'm saying that Zach LaVine right now, leadership is going to be essential to what his future plans are, regardless if you want to stay with the Chicago Bulls or not. I think that the young guys last year, we know a lot of them look to DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is no longer here. You know what I'm saying? And we know that Pete Will was under DeMar DeRozan's wing. Ayo Dosunmu has spent time with him. Kobe White for sure has spent time with him. And Dalen Terry, we know he still even, you know what I'm saying, even though DeMar was gone, he still spent some time with DeMar this offseason. So these guys love him. And I'm not saying Zach LaVine has to come in and be their next DeMar DeRozan, but all I'm saying is just find your way. Find your way, find your leadership style, and just go out there and be the veteran that you are. You are the best player on the team. You know what I'm saying? At least for the time being, if some changes happen or if somebody steps up, that can always change. But as of right now, Zach LaVine is the best player on the team. Doesn't necessarily have to be him that is the leader of the squad. But I do think that you can have more than one leader within your locker room. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to necessarily do it another guy's way. You can do it your own way. So I hope that Zach LaVine, this is a part of his plan, because if we're talking about the plan is still in question. If we're talking and we're looking at from the Chicago Bulls side, we know that they were trying to trade Zach LaVine. You know what I'm saying? But nothing came out of that. So did they really go ahead and did they pivot and really say, all right, cool, we couldn't figure anything we couldn't figure anything out. We just gonna accept the fact that Zach LaVine is gonna be here. We still believe in the player. Woo woo. You know what I'm saying? They could absolutely have said that. Or I'm not saying that they, you know what I'm saying, did this, but they could have absolutely said to hell what Zach LaVine's want. We're not trading him. We're not even gonna make calls. We're gonna act as if we're making calls, but we're not making calls. We want Zach LaVine on his team. They could have absolutely done that as well. I don't know what they did behind the scenes. We do know that there were some type of reports that they were trying to negotiate, and there was a lot of rumblings around Zach LaVine. But I still think that Zach LaVine and his job right now, he got to step up, and not only on the floor, but also with these young guys. And I'm not saying he got to go be their mentor, but on the basketball court, you got to make sound decisions and hold guys accountable and hold yourself accountable as well, because we've seen some examples of Zach LaVine playing lackluster defense. And then we heard certain situations where Goran Dragic and Nikola Vucevic want to have a question with Zach LaVine. You know what I'm saying? They question him. So I say it's imperative that he steps up in that regard. And one of the things that we think about when we talk about Zach LaVine and the leadership style and what we were hoping heading into this season was that we was hoping that Zach LaVine wouldn't get in the way of the young players. You know what I'm saying? Zach LaVine played 25 games with the Chicago Bulls. He was out, and Kobe White was there, and he excelled. Ayo Dosunmu was there, and he excelled. Dalen Terry was there. He took steps forward. Now Josh Giddey is a part of the young squad that you have now. Jalen Smith is also a young guy that's on the squad now. That's a young talent. And we don't want Zach LaVine to get in the way of that. We don't want him, or we don't want to have the belief that he's hindering guys. I pushed back towards it a little bit, but there was some truth in this statement that DeMar DeRozan, there was a belief that he held P. Will back. You know what I'm saying? I was one of those people that said that early on, but then I came to the point and was like, bro, P. Will still, with the opportunity that he still can be doing better. You know what I'm saying? But that was always the belief. You know what I'm saying? Now he's out the way. So now we looking at Zach LaVine like, bro, we don't need you to hinder anybody, or we don't even want to have the thought that you're hindering anybody. But the good thing is that out of this report, it's being reported that Zach LaVine and Billy Donovan had a conversation, and Zach LaVine has vowed not to overstep or stunt the development of younger players, according to a team source. So I'm going to take him for his word. We're going to see what he's going to be able to come out and do with that. I think that's the best thing that he should have said. I think that's the best thing that he can do for the sake of the squad. Because me, regardless, if I wanted to get traded or something, and I can't speak to it because I've never been an NBA player, I'm too damn short. Don't crack the jokes, man, your business. But nonetheless, I'm feeling as if you shouldn't be trying to get in the way of others. You should be trying to elevate everybody. You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing on how we talk about the podcast again. You know what I'm saying? We do our Bulls thing. Everybody else do their Bulls thing. It's enough for everybody to eat. I do my Bears thing. A lot of people do their Bears things, but it's still enough around for us to eat. Now, if you throw shots at us, we come at you, but we don't send out smoke signals to anybody or throw shade on that. You do you. Shy Bulls podcast, we're going to do us. You know what I'm saying? So that's how this, you know what I'm saying? That's how we hoping that Zach LaVine is approaching this, because he could very well come out and still crap the bed. I don't think that's what he's going to do. I honestly have him as the leading scorer for the Chicago Bulls and for the time being. And then I got Kobe White coming in at number 2. But I can always be wrong in that. And if I am wrong, y'all know I don't give a damn. It's okay. These are just predictions. We're going to take it for what it really is. But y'all let me know your thoughts and below on all that down below on Zach LaVine. How you feeling like him being a willing participant is going to help the Chicago Bulls, if at all, if you believe that. And why I believe that Zach LaVine he has to step up for the sake of himself, for the now and for the future, on whatever that plan is. Let me know your thoughts and everything down below. But as promised, before we get up out of here, we got to talk about Josh Giddey. Josh Giddey, he sat down with Sports Illustrated and pretty much had a conversation with those people over there. And he talked about his time in OKC. And one of the things that I took out of that, if you want to go ahead and check out the full article, it's on Sports Illustrated. Shout out to them. But I just took one of the quotes out of this and just wanted to elaborate on that. and just kind of provide a little bit of a perspective on why I believe he gonna have a bounce back season. That's just me. But nonetheless, out of the article, Josh Giddey said this, and quote, when you're injured, it's obviously different because you're not playing. This year, for me, it felt like a nightmare that was never going to end. I felt like I couldn't get going. I string 1, 2, 3 good games together, and then there'd be a stretch of bad ones. It just felt like I could never build any momentum, and it just felt to me like such an isolated place. End quote. And before I go in, he did also show love to the OKC Thunder organization, Sam Presti, the head coach, and all those guys. But now, when we just taking away the stuff right here that Josh Giddey is talking about, when we talking about building momentum, I think he's going to have ample opportunity to build momentum. Now it's going to be all up on and dependent on him. I will say that I do believe that since he took the time out to go and play in the Olympics, to get that, you know what I'm saying, to try to polish up his game and work on a few things that I'm sure that he's aware of. The 3-point shot for sure, moving his feet on the defensive side. I've seen I've seen some good examples of that for Team Australia with Josh Giddey on it this past summer in the Olympics. I've seen good examples of that. Now, what I'm hoping is that Billy Donovan can come in, sit down with Josh Giddey, lay out what the formula is going to be, and I hope that Josh Giddey can execute. That's what it's going to come down to. Execution. Just play within yourself. Don't try to do too much. Trust your teammates. It's going to be a lot of frustration early on, but you got to take it a game by game basis. But you don't want to take too long. But so the good thing that I'm loving and I'm hearing is that these guys have been working together. They're doing players only mini camps. They've been coming together. He's been in the building with these guys. They've been around each other. I'm glad they ain't go to Tennessee. We know what that turned out to be. It didn't seem like it did anything. They remained at the crib. Well, they went out to Miami, you know what I'm saying, for their stuff. Hopefully it works out. But I believe that Josh Giddey, by the end of the season, is going to be about 16, 6, and 7 at the minimum. 16, 6, and 7 at the minimum. When it comes down to the 3-point shot, I believe we will see an improvement. I don't think we're going to see a major uptick, but a guy that has improved every single year that he's been in the NBA, last year shooting 33% from the 3. This year, I'm giving him about 36, 37% from the 3. I think it's just going to be a little bit more efficient with the way that the Chicago Bulls are about to play. I'm encouraged and intrigued about the play style that we're going to potentially see. I believe they're going to play a lot faster. I believe there's going to be more 3-point attempts, and there will be more makes, in my opinion. Now, I could very well, it can very well go the other way, because with a lot of times we think that the Chicago Bulls are going to be better when it comes to play style and certain things. But as we all know, sometimes we scratching our head and we yelling at the TV screen because Billy Donovan chewing his gum too damn hard, and the Chicago Bulls, they stink. You know what I'm saying? So it could very well go the other way. Y'all already know where I stand. I don't predict that the Chicago Bulls are going to go out and win 40 games. I got them about 30 to 35 games. I believe that's a fair point to set them at until they prove us otherwise. If you're a betting person, they got the stuff at 28 and a half games. I'm going to say 30. Hey, I'm going to slide with the 30. But shout out to Josh Giddey, man. You got a great opportunity in front of him. But like we always say over here, you got to put it on wax, buddy. You got to put it on wax. And that's how we leave it at that. But that is it for me today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode. Go ahead and leave your comments, provide feedback, and let us know what you're thinking down in the comment box below. If you want to be a part of our mailbag episode, go ahead and hit our line at 773-242-9219. We getting closer and closer to the start, and we expecting to have a lot of fun. We don't know too much about wins, but thank y'all so much. Always see red, and y'all already know I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.